Hey, man, it's Kevin Smith.
Hey, this is Jay Music.
Hey, I'm Scott Snyder.
I'm Cena Grace.
And you're listening
to the Absolute Geek.
The Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek Podcast.
Check it out, Snoogans.
Friday night in Phoenix. Woo! You're listening to the Absolute Geek Podcast.
Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens. It is Friday night in Phoenix, and you're listening to the Absolute Geek Podcast. I am Matt.
I am the GuineaPig Prince.
I'm Brian.
The GuineaPig Prince.
Uh-oh.
What's going on, guys?
Did he just pee on you?
No, not this time.
Not this time. How are you guys enjoying your quarantine?
I'm breeding guinea pigs.
Breeding guineas?
I got a guinea pig zoo.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
Get rid of them.
Uh-oh.
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 Is there an accident?
It's starting to trip out.
It's
Hey, everybody.
gonna bite you. The guinea
I need
pig
one of my
Prince.
handlers to come get it.
One of your guinea pig handlers.
Take that thing the fuck away.
Go put it in a smaller cage. Go put it in a smaller cage. So, what have you guys been doing to keep busy?
I'm going fucking stir crazy, bro.
Yeah,
Are you really?
Yeah.
thinking about rejoining the workforce? Are you?
Fuck no.
Not even
I mean, I'm going
quarantine.
stir
can
crazy.
do
I'm
that.
going stir crazy because I'm stuck in my house.
Yeah. Not even the Rona will make me want to get back into the workforce.
Fuck no.
Fuck all that.
Yeah.
Go fucking drive Uber Eats. It's just getting crazy, man. I went to Walmart before the show, and they're only letting a certain number of people in, and they're kind of like everyone's wearing masks. And
Really? When did they start doing that at Walmart?
today, I guess.
The Walmart I did was yesterday. It was all blocked off. You can only go in one way and out another way. And they had like all these pallets stacked up and all these like pink arrows everywhere.
We have a special guest joining us tonight who was a little late to just join in. We got Ken Brown from Drawn to Comics. Welcome, Ken.
Can it be?
Yes.
Maybe.
Hey,
I always got some audio problems or internet problems or something.
And he's frozen.
And he's frozen.
And he's still frozen.
He looks
guys,
like
how's it going, dude?
How's it
good.
going, Ken?
Hey, there we go. I feel like I'm in a lighthouse here, dude. You guys
You look like you're in
cool
a
with that,
lighthouse.
or how should I do this?
Yeah, you look like you're in a lighthouse.
I know, dude. I'm halfway to heaven. I'm not sure how. Wow, that's creepy, huh?
Yeah, Michael Stout
You know what
says
you guys like?
theirs starts tomorrow. Only 100 people in the store at a time.
That's crazy.
Like they had, like when you go in, so they had all the
Where at?
shopping carts. Walmart. They had all the shopping carts blocking one entrance,
Wow.
and then another one they had it divided where you can only go in one single file and out the other door. And that was it. And people are all wearing masks. All the cashiers have masks. It's nuts.
That's why whenever I go into Walmart now, I make sure that my cannabis cough isn't too bad because I get too many freaking stares.
People stare at you.
Every time I cough, I have to be like, cannabis cough.
Yeah.
Gotta get the shirt.
Yeah, that's coming.
Camera cough?
Cannabis.
gotta
Yeah, dude. Because to defend this universe, right?
Yeah.
You got to make sure that you have that covered. You should just have a sign
Let's
on
go
your
with
head,
it.
or hang a sign around your neck that says "Don't worry, it's just weed cough."
It's
Yeah.
Carol's fault.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like bitch Carol Baskin's fault. Well, I invited Ken on the show this week. We've tried to
Frozen
invite him
Ken?
quite a bit, but we want to talk about a little bit about what's going on as far as the comic book industry is concerned. We've gotten a lot of questions and people talking about that as far as like what the status with Diamond is, what's going to happen with new comics, and will your local shop survive this? And
even the future of comics as well.
Yeah, the future of comics as well. So I figured who better to talk about that than a store owner himself from a reputable member of the comic book community, and got a store in downtown Glendale. So we brought Ken on in to kind of give you that perspective as long and his opinion as well as ours. So,
dude, well, thanks you guys for having me on, dude. I'm gonna turn off here. I may have too much Wi-Fi going in my house right now.
I don't think that's the problem.
Do you have a hardwire? Are you hardwired?
I am Wi-Fi'd right now.
Ooh.
Let's see. The only hardwire we have is downstairs, and the wife and daughter are using the TV.
Gotcha.
And so, well, let's see, dude. Okay, you guys, or no?
No, you're if you think you can get a couple things off Wi-Fi, that might help.
Say it again.
Shut it all down.
Yeah, if you think that you might be able to get a couple things off Wi-Fi, that might help.
Yeah, let me see, dude. Okay.
Well, the only problem is freaking StreamYard. I had this problem the other day with StreamYard. It's just if you don't have a good connection, it's just killer.
Okay, dude. Let me see.
yeah, because I mean you come
Wi-Fi
in
real quick for you.
come in clear and then you cut out, so it's spotty.
Come in, then cut out.
Yeah.
So what Ken needs to do is he needs to get into the comic book mask making and make coronavirus masks that are comic themed.
Oh, dude, I thought about that today. I thought about hitting Jay up today and being like, "Look, we got to get in mask making, bro. We need to get Absolute Geek masks out there and just have like our logo on the front of them. We got to jump on that.
No, it's got to have Kyle's face
or a Kyle mask. Yeah, we got to jump on that.
That'd be awesome, dude. Like photo print of Kyle on our masks.
That'd be great.
Sick.
Yeah.
And I'll do
we have
pose.
There you go. You got to do it shirtless though.
The what?
Dad bod camera model right here. He's gonna start that career too.
I got to make sure I look away like I'm looking at something in the distance.
Yeah.
It'll be like the old G.I. Joe soldier sheets, like that, where there's just each of us on the mask.
you gotta do that for everyone.
Holding like kind of thing out there. It's like doing like action poses or something, like Hulk Hogan or whatever you guys want to do.
The gun shows that way.
Yeah.
Dude, it is scary when you're driving down the street now and you see people like loading guns into the back of their trunk. That was kind of an eerie sight today when we're out delivering. I was going, "Are you kidding me?"
Well, I thought it was crazy today when I'm going into Walmart and there's just dudes with bandanas all over their face, and like everyone's covering their face, and you're like, normally you'd be like, "This dude's gonna rob me," and that's just the norm now is people who got their faces covered. So
yeah. It's definitely uncertain for people right now.
I hadn't even noticed.
Kind of surrounded out of comics right over here. Right? I'm doing eBay crazy lately.
You couldn't barter a haircut, huh, Kyle?
No.
You got till 5 p.m. tomorrow.
For what?
To get your haircut before they shut down barbershops and salons.
So are they arresting people?
Real, they're going barbershops and salons are next tomorrow?
Yeah. They're not arresting people yet, but technically the police have the authority to stop you. And if you don't have a work permit on you and you're not going to the store, you're gonna get hassled. So I think you can get up to a $500 ticket.
Gonna get ticketed?
Saying. Yeah.
Nubia was telling me the other day because her work does takeout. So what she does is they have a patio. So nobody can come in because nobody's allowed in restaurants right now. So what she does is she has a phone out and she takes orders from their front patio. And so she just sits out there, and she said there was like 3 people walking their dogs, and they kind of stopped, and they're kind of conversating and kind of mingling, and they were just talking. The cops came up, stopped in the middle of the road, flashed the sirens, told them they had to move along, keep going.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. One thing I have noticed, though, is there are so many cops on the road now.
Erica made a grand entrance. The Philippines are shooting people now. Hi, guys.
Isn't that crazy?
Grand entrance.
Eric, you already missed me. You already missed the guinea pigs. I had the guinea pigs on in the beginning.
Yep. Guinea pigging it out.
Mm-hmm. You have to rewind the show, everybody, for the first few minutes. But
Are they really shooting people in the Philippines?
Dude, yeah, and they're supposedly doing it in North Korea too.
that's why their numbers are so much higher. You are cured.
Right? Have you seen that meme yet? That's like 701, 1 case, 702, 0 cases, 801, 1 case, 805, 0 cases.
You know, the scary thing is that I was listening to a podcast today, and there was a guy on there talking about this Italian. It's like an Italian. The way he put it, he made it sound is like it's an Italian like news company, like 60 Minutes is out here. It's funny. It's called the same name as a comic book. It's called Rai, R-A-I, or Ray. I don't know how they say it, but they did a story 2 years ago about rumors that the Chinese had made this new flu virus to study, and it was basically what they had done, and this is in the report. They said that they took the SARS virus, and which came from mice, and mixed it with a virus that comes from bats, and that this is where the Chinese virus came from. And everybody was like, "Don't do that shit." And then the Chinese were like, "No, the reward outweighs the risk, and it'll never get out, and this and that." And sure enough, look what happened.
That one bat flew away. God damn it.
So,
Brian, did you let the bat out? Nah, man, I didn't let no bat out.
I think
This has
that
been
is,
Conspiracy Corner with Brian McClay.
if that is true, don't get me, I have conspiracy. I am a tinfoil hat
Jeffrey
wearer. But
Epstein killed himself.
if that is true, that stuff happened, a bat didn't get away. They released that shit on their own.
Or some dude just ate it.
It's like the end of 13 Monkeys or 12 Monkeys.
Yeah. Yep.
It's the
That's
Batman.
scary.
Batman's now gonna have a new villain called Corona or Rona.
Like
Well, the scary thing that
spectacular Spider-Man issue that was
Kid, your internet.
did you guys see that?
No, because
yeah, your internet's
your
cutting in and
internet's
out.
cutting out really bad. We didn't hear what you said.
I know, dude. I'm kind of like
I feel like we're on Omegle right now. We just connected to a random person. I like that smile.
I'm trying to
That's fantastic.
I can't tell if he's frozen or just
Getting
sitting
bigger.
there.
Yeah.
wax on,
Yeah.
wax off.
Eric said it'll be a girl, Miss Rona. Did you see that before we switch off this topic real quick, the CDC came out today. They spent all that time telling you masks are worthless, masks don't do anything, there's no point in wearing masks, and now they're heavily suggesting that all Americans wear masks if you have to go out in public. Or some sort of cloth covering your face.
Jeez.
That's what I do anyway.
You cover your
They
face.
don't know what they're dealing with. Each day is going to be a new nothing.
Right. There you go.
That's the most effective way right now. I hear.
Nice
Hello,
shirt,
everybody.
Kyle. I never would have taken you to have a Jared Leto I can't talk. I'm done. Jared Leto Joker shirt.
It's my work shirt.
It's your work shirt. Every shirt is your work shirt. But all right, so I've been just kind of busting around hoping Ken's internet would get better. But So let's talk what's going on with the comic book industry and kind of where we stand right now and what we forecast our opinions on what's going to happen in the future, where it's going to go. And then we'll get Ken can kind of give us his opinions and thoughts from the store owner aspect of things. So Diamond shut down. I can't, with your drink stashed through your shirt.
I can't take any chances. Look, I've got a Crown Royal smile. It's so cute.
George Washington says when you can't find the fourth person, so you have to go to Omegle.
Omegle? What's that?
It's like chat roulette.
Oh.
It's like a chat site.
All right.
One of the crazy things that I saw this week that's bullshit, and I don't know if it's true or not. What am I talking about? It was April Fool's. Never mind.
What were you talking about?
Now that I realize it, I'm remembering it was April Fool's. That somebody had said that the punchline was going to be one of the three Jokers.
Oh my God.
No.
And it was April Fool's or something.
I hope not.
No.
This is the worst year for April Fool's jokes, don't you think?
The whole year so far is an April Fool's
Yeah,
joke.
I mean, it's been January 1st to April 1st. Now, hopefully, the rest of the year will be great after this.
But so is this true that punchline is supposed to be one of the three Jokers?
Oh, dude, I doubt it. I don't think they know what they're doing. I thought the whole punchline was that she's a joke.
Yeah,
You know, like it'd be hilarious if she dies before this whole thing's over.
I think she's replacing Harley.
I've read she's not
not
supposed
at all.
to. I've read she's not supposed to be a Harley replacement. She's more of like an assistant, kind of like Lex Luthor has.
Okay.
So she's
Like
gonna
a-
take notes and get coffee.
Yeah.
but that would be classic if they were just fucking with people. And like you said, Ken, that the punchline is she's a joke.
Yeah, the joke's on us.
Mm-hmm.
Then too is like that.
It's just Batman's Corona fever dream. He just
Yeah.
messed her up.
Exactly.
He had a little.
That's the big riddle, right?
Yeah.
That'd be funny. If the punchline's actually Riddler dressed up as a girl.
All right, so it looks like your connection's a little bit better. So, question number one: how are you dealing with this, Ken? What's going on with the store?
Yeah, dude, one day at a time. That's all we can do right now. I mean, I've been hustling around doing deliveries and doing eBay listings and eBay packaging and shipping it out. We've been doing curbside pickup for customers still, but our doors are locked and people have to call in and make an appointment to come meet with us. We try to keep it as swift as possible. And we just hope that people want to read comics, we can get them to them. The good thing about us is we do have a large overstock of stuff I can play with and try to put together some creative packages to get people reading stuff that they may have never been exposed to, because the beauty of the comic book industry is there's like millions of different stories out there, and there's no way anybody could read everything. So that's what we're hoping, that people will be interested in checking out new stuff like it's New Issue Day.
So
New issue day every day.
So I know
Exactly.
Diamond shut down, and they said that they're closing their doors. They're not shipping out new product. They're not taking in new product, and they're not paying their distributors. Or so how is that going to have an effect on the community or the culture going forward, do you think?
It's interesting. I mean, like, I can't speak for like Diamond's situation they're in right now, but there have been rumors that Diamond's been financially dealing with some tough stuff for about the past 5 to 10 years now. Remember they had the Steve Geppi Museum in Baltimore? That was closed down about 3 or 4 years ago now. That was a financial decision. There's my aunt lives in Baltimore, Maryland, and it's interesting, when I went out there for the retailer summit a few years ago, I got to really see firsthand about how connected Steve Geppi is in that community outside of comic books. He has, like, how we have like Phoenix Magazine out here as like more or less a pulse of the city type of magazine, like what's popular, what are big business movers and shakers type of magazine out here. Magazines out in Baltimore too as well, and that seems to me be like one of his more lucrative ways of bringing in advertising dollars in to help pay for Diamond. And I might be wrong, but it was very interesting about how Like for instance, my aunt and my uncle were aware what Steve Geppi is, but they didn't know he owned Diamond. And so that's an interesting thing of like, maybe it's to the point of where it's a print industry, and maybe their online form of it is not producing as much money as it used to as well in that medium as well. And so when I don't know what's happening, but there could be a possibility he's robbing Peter to pay Paul to keep the comic distribution as healthy as possible. But when the economy took a tank back in 2008 and what they're dealing with over the past few years, who knows if this is something that is like that they're trying to fight for survival right now. I don't know for sure, just looking at based off of what I've known over the years.
That's interesting.
Now, I know there's been a big debate, and I want to get your opinion on this. And Kyle seemed pretty passionate, wanted to talk about it too. The debate between physical to digital.
Okay.
And kind of the preference in. Now, my understanding is when you buy digital, that doesn't go to the creators, the artists, the writers, because you're only buying the license to read that material. You're not actually paying for that material. So
yeah, but through the license and give through it, that's how they're paying the artists and the writers to do it, right?
I mean, from what I've looked into and kind of researched, no, because all you're doing is buying the license, the right to read that book, and that's why you're only paying like $1.99 versus the $3.99 cover price for the book. How as an old school comic fan and collector and store owner, what's your opinion on the digital versus physical?
I used to have mixed feelings about digital, where I did not want any part of it for the long term of the comic industry. But the more discussions we've had with different customers, different people in the industry, digital does play its part in the comic industry for people that do not have comic shops in their area. And that exposure, I think, is good for people that don't have comic shops in like Podunk, Wisconsin, or Jerryville, Nebraska, places where there's no comic shops around.
I've been there once. It's real small.
Yeah, it is, dude. Like it's I think 300 square feet or something like that. But that gets at least exposure to comic books to places where there's no brick and mortar store to walk into, especially with no newsstand anymore. It's that gets people in front of comic books. So when they do get into a city where there's comic book shops, they're looking on their Google search and they're saying, hey, let's go check out a comic book shop. We're around them. And then that could create exposure for like mail order or different types of options where they get exposed to everything the industry offers. But when it comes to the hard paper forms of comics, it's nothing better in my opinion. I mean, that's something that should be here to stay for as long as comic books are in production.
I missed what you were talking about, and let me know if I'm just repeating. Were you talking about the whole thing with Image and what Image said they were going to do?
Mm-mm.
No, we're talking about physical versus digital.
Okay, so Image and this, I don't know if this is a rumor, but I heard it's for real. Image was talking about letting all during this Corona thing, anybody that wants to can go buy their copies digitally on Image's site, and then when everything gets back to normal, Image will give them physical copies.
Okay, and that's
so it sounds like it's just like that Comics Hub was trying to do, but Image is going to directly ship it to you.
Yeah, the only thing that's
a lot of addresses that Image will need.
I hope they go through the local comic shops. I mean, I don't see them not doing that because the local comic shops are their bread and butter.
Well, and that's kind of like one of the reasons I wanted Ken to come on and talk about this is that Comics Hub came out and said a few days ago that they were going to try and do a prepay model where through them you buy the book digitally, they ship the books to the comic book store or your local store, and then you can pick up a physical copy. It pretty much reserves your physical copy.
But how does the comic book store get their money?
Well, that's right.
I think Image would probably work something out.
And they've pulled back on it and said they're no longer going to do it because people have raised questions like that, and store owners have raised questions.
But I mean, like, would you buy? I mean, how would? I mean, I guess you could hope that it would almost be like a convenience store where you're going to get gas and you're hoping that they go inside and buy a pack of smokes. So if you were to buy a digital copy and then you get a voucher and you're able to walk into your comic book store to pick one up, how would the comic book store know how many to order then?
Yeah. That's where the logistics from what Comic Hub was suggesting based off of some of the responses we read today were that in theory it's great, but logistically it's too hard to predict what's going to happen with comic shops that get these orders. Like some shops may not even stay open through this whole process. And then what store picks up that purchase to fill in the order if they didn't get that money in the first place?
Yeah, and now you're hoping that somebody else just buys other stuff there then.
The what?
Then you would just be hoping, God, I hope they buy a soda, or I hope they buy bags and boards, or I hope they buy. So now you're stuck just for all the people that just walk in, get their comic book and leave. You would be, I mean, it would almost be a waste of your time though, wouldn't it? If 80% of the people didn't actually purchase anything around it because they already purchased their comics.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's just kind of like they'd be just trying to come in and pick up and go. And
like if I already bought a bunch of books and I didn't have extra money because I've already purchased my books, the chances of me buying something else are slim because I've already purchased my order.
Yes.
Not even just that, but think of the overhead. Like, who knows how long this is going to go on, and people are forgetful. So you purchase that digital book, and they're sending that copy to your store, and you don't pick that up. Your store's sitting on that, and I don't think that you can technically sell that because
they'd have to have the checkbox. Please enter comic book store here.
Yeah.
So they know how many to send, which I don't even think that would work out.
Yeah, the logistics on it, unfortunately, like when everybody was looking at it and addressing the concerns, it came back as, unfortunately, it's not a viable method of doing things through that process at the moment. I don't know if they'll come up with anything that helps adjust it to make it realistic, but as of right now, the consensus was it's impossible to maintain under that structure at the moment. And it's it's frustrating, but waiting the long game for something that's going to be sustainable, I'd rather see that than them just try to rush something out just because we're all freaked out right now.
You know, where you could do it is
that, but that's the reality that I feel like we're dealing with is you don't want to have to keep on correcting it because the flaws are making things worse than better.
I guess the only way they could do it was you buy it, you get a voucher, right? And you send the money, you take your voucher to your local comic book store, give it, and then they would give you the money later. Like you say, you scan X amount of vouchers.
Yeah, the thing is with that is whoever's collecting the money ahead of time, they have to distribute that money to the comic shops before the physical comics start arriving because we have to pay for them when they get distributed.
Well, my understanding of the way it worked is that on the app, you selected your local comic shop that was participating, you bought the book, and the money went to the comic. So it went almost as like it was a pre-order on that physical copy.
So what happens if your comic book store doesn't participate then?
Then you can't do it. You have to find one that does. And so then you would go to the store and you have like a QR code or a code that you'd scan when you pick it up, or they would scan when you pick it up. So they would get paid for that. So essentially the way I heard it described was your comic book shop is getting paid now. They're getting the funds now to keep going, and you're getting you're getting the digital copy to read now, but you're getting your physical copy once everything kicks back off. And once they can get books in stores again.
So once they enter in, this is my participating comic store, you pay for it, they send them the money?
Right, yeah. It goes right to the store. But
I see that is not happening.
That's what a lot of people were concerned about is like what happens if all these people are, they're buying the books through certain stores and the stores close down because they can't keep going because there's not enough money coming in. And they paid for those books and no other comic shop who's going to step up to fill those orders if there's no other comic shop around, much less wanting to pay for someone's books just to give to them. I mean, it's a great way to build more customer base in that aspect of things. If you're doing a good faith thing, say, here's the comic that you're supposed to get, but who's going to be able to afford all that if it gets out of control?
Yeah, you could be upside down so quick.
Yes.
And not to mention all the, like you said, more overhead or overstock you're going to have when Diamond kicks back up and they're flooding your stores. And like I'm dreading that right now, just thinking about how are they going to do it? Are they going to space it out? Or is it going to be whatever's already supposed to be released ships all at once? And
well, you're still making orders, aren't you, Ken? You've made your orders, even though they're not shipping anything out.
Yeah, they made us do our March orders. They extended out the order date. It was last Thursday, but it looks like they're extending it out to April now. I think it's April 7th. I have to double check my Diamond site again, but it was at least April 7th. And they put out the order form for the April order form, which is probably be due in May now, to be ordered at the end of the month too, because they want these orders to keep coming in for two reasons, in my opinion. It helps protect them from us not having to go to another option. So we go to another option, then it's become double dipping, because everything that we commit our orders to, we're legally financially responsible for, the same way Diamond's legally financially responsible to the publishers for. And so as long as they keep those orders coming in, they financially will stay viable because they're getting our money one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
If we go order directly from Marvel or DC, then we have to not only pay for those books, we're on the hook for when distribution does come out from Diamond for those books too. So by Marvel and DC not distributing on their own, it's keeping the comic shop safe from being double billed, if that makes any sense.
So they're keeping that so-called monopoly because they're keeping you guys with your hands tied behind your back, so to speak.
In theory, I mean, they're trying to protect themselves too. Do you know what I mean? Because as I said, them keeping orders coming in keeps them afloat as well, because we have to buy those books if we commit that order. What's going to eventually happen, it'd be interesting, is that when May comes around for the order form for April, if we don't have an answer by then, how many shops just don't submit an order to Diamond because Diamond's not distributing?
What's the point of ordering if you're not going to get anything?
Yeah, it's just that they're playing that, as you said too, that fear card of like that, hey, let's go back into distribution. You want to make sure your order's in or else you're not getting anything.
I mean, is there any rumors in the rumor mill through the comic book stores and that there's another plan being put into place?
I mean, it's this Comic Hub was like supposed to be the big deal opportunity to make sure that things kind of get rolling again once they do get rolling. But as I said, dude, it's like that. The main things I think we need to listen for is DC and Marvel to make announcements. Like I said, too, remember DC almost got crucified last week for their announcement, so they had to withdraw almost immediately about that option of them circumventing Diamond and possibly comic shops as a whole. So you saw like that how the industry reacted to, oh my gosh, dude, they're forgetting about comic shops. DC is like the demon from hell right now. And it's like that they're trying to look for every option possible, but at the same time, there's the industry that's ready to react just like immediately. We saw it happen in both factions. We saw it with the DC announcement last week, and we saw it with the Comic Hub announcement this week. It's like an emotional roller coaster of what people are wanting and what are possibilities, and they're not matching up right now. So until you see possibilities that are realistic, you're probably not going to hear anything for a while.
Well, how much of there's got to be Diamond's got to be responsible for a little bit of this too, because not all states are under the shelter in place. Not all states are forcing them to close. So Diamond closing and deciding we're not going to take orders and taking that upon themselves is affecting shops, and it's not even a government thing at that point. It's because Diamond chose to do that. It's affecting the new product going into stores.
Well, the thing I think that's happening with Diamond is the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's going to be at least 10 or more people working in that warehouse in close quarters because there's so many titles they have to pack in a box at the same time.
Yeah.
And I know supposedly there's robots and stuff like that in their warehouses that are supposed to help with that. But
that's no different than like Amazon or any of the other places that are still operating.
Yeah, so something's not being shared with us from Diamond about what the physical height is coming from, other than the fact that they said the publishers are not able to get them the books, and if they can't get them the books, they can't get them out to us.
Where is Diamond located? I'm spacing it. Are they in Baltimore or are they in New York?
They're in Maryland and Baltimore.
They're in Maryland. I mean, isn't it a little more rampant out there than it is like, over here, like for us?
Yeah.
So they're closing everything down over there. It's a little more mandatory than it is here. That's probably why.
Mm-hmm. I could totally see that. I mean, the only solution, like me and Matt were talking about this a little bit on the phone earlier, is quartering up the country into 4 separate distribution centers. And then
you mean districts?
Yeah, the future of like that. Hey, it's like there's, West Coast, there is Southwest, there's, Midwest, and then East Coast. And then that way something like this happens again, at least there's those opportunities to have one of those 4 distribution centers distribute for the rest of the country that's available to get books.
So this kind of, you just had, I'm sorry, this is my cannabis brain kicking in. Kyle just said districts, and it made me remember something. And I've brought this guy up on the show before, John Teeter. John Teeter, the time traveler, said in his is
it that time already for Conspiracy with McClay Part 2?
Yeah, Part 2. So he said during that timeline that a virus just takes out a large part of the population, and the United States has to change basically how their government is run, and they move everything from the East Coast more inward, and the East Coast just becomes shit, and Omaha becomes the new capital, and they call it districts. So sorry about that, but just to make it right, make that crazy conspiracy theory talk right, I'll cancel it out with this. I heard that San Diego is going forward. What the fuck?
Yeah, they have not canceled Comic-Con yet. They are going to wait.
They actually came out and said that, like, hey, everybody, we're still going. We're still on.
I thought they've been saying, like, as of right now, we're still keeping it, it's still here.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any cons the rest of this year, with all due respect to comic conventions. I think they got to start planning for mid to late 2021 for conventions until there's a vaccine out for this, because there's way too many people in one area for a gathering like this with this pandemic continuing.
I think they go forward with Comic-Con.
I bet you they cancel it, especially the state that California's in right now.
Yeah, man, it's in horrible shape.
But California, if anyone listening from California, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought they're in the state where they have to wear masks. If you can't even walk into another building outside of your house without wearing a mask now. And I thought that was statewide.
How do you get the masks?
Buy them at the store.
Really? I didn't know you could get them at the store.
Yeah, well, you're buying non-surgical grade masks, so you're buying like the same masks, like dust masks people wear for painting houses or sanding, or
those don't do anything.
Yeah.
Right. Well, like I said, the CDC came out today and said a suggestion that all Americans wear face coverings when they go outside, like a bandana, a mask, a shirt, whatever you got, whatever cloth you have to cover your face, because they're finding now that where they thought it was transferred by people coughing or sneezing, it's just having a conversation with someone can transfer it.
Yeah, because most people are asymptomatic. They don't have any symptoms.
You get sick. Yeah, Michael, like Grizzle Geek said, you get sick normally going to con because you get the con crud. But I don't know how San Diego would financially recover by canceling Comic-Con, because a lot of these companies make their yearly nut on Comic-Con, and they chose Comic-Con over the Chargers. They let the Chargers
if they're
walk.
told they can't do it, they're not going to do it anyway.
I think that's why they're freaking out, is because they put all their eggs in that basket by kicking the Chargers out of there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if it's an order, it's an order. They're not going to say we're San Diego Comic-Con. We're going to do it anyway.
Well, if it's a state order, then yeah. But what I'm saying is, if by the end of May, all this starts lightening up and they start releasing restrictions, and they're saying, okay, we can have small gatherings, I think San Diego's going to try to go regardless.
But that's not a small gathering, though.
I understand that, but I'm just saying they're going to try to go. Whether that means limiting things, I think they still try to go by any means necessary, unless the government physically says you cannot hold this, like California has in place right now. If they release a little bit of it, I think they go.
It seems to me like they're going to turn into like the virtual con that these other conventions have been trying to put on this year. Is where if there's something that they can do that is entertainment purpose wise, like where they say, for instance, get an interview with like Scott Snyder making an announcement about something that's coming up next year, and they sell more or less seats to sit into that room where it's like a gigantic, more or less, as you said too, pay-per-view, like Hall H type of thing. They have count how many seats are in Hall H, and they sell subscriptions for you to log into to maybe witness what the panel would be. Or I said to him, just trying to think out of the box here, like doing a virtual convention of like, once again, they're already doing with selling exclusives through Emerald City Comic Con and WonderCon, who's coming up too, as well as like, how can we make like a virtual reality experience and then still get some kind of revenue coming in to pay for when this all goes back online again?
Well, Michael Grizzle Geek just posted a great question, and I think it's an opportunity. He said, with no movies and no comics, what are they going to show at Comic-Con? I think it's the opportunity for them to pivot back to the comic fin, and you go there for those sweet deals, and you go there for the autographs.
But they're not. That's not the way it's
right.
Be,
I know, but I'm just saying, like that's a way they could pivot and recover from no movies or TV shows. Is that it goes back to more of an old school feeling.
They won't have the numbers and the people spending money.
Yeah,
if it's just a comic show, there won't be enough comic people going there. Now that it's a pop culture convention, that's what everyone goes there for.
What are they going to do for people? Like, it's a PR nightmare. It's kind of a you're damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario, because you're going to have the PR nightmare where you have to refund people. I think you're going to have more people pissed off that they can't go to Comic-Con, or that you have to sit in that queue and can't go to Comic-Con versus a refund. This
is what they're going to do what everybody else is doing right now. Nothing's being canceled. Everything's being postponed.
Right.
So I bet you what they do is if they cancel it, everybody who has tickets to 2020 San Diego Comic-Con, you just now have tickets to 2021. Yes. And they're pushing it, and it's just you just have tickets for the following year.
Nobody for 20. So then they're not. You're saying in your theory they won't hold a draft or a raffle for 2021. If you got those tickets, you're in for 2021, and nobody comes in 2021
because they don't want to give them. It's just like all the concerts. They're not giving you the
Brian. He's squashing his roommate.
Yeah, they're just like all the concerts. They're not canceling any of the concerts because if they cancel the concert, they have to give us our money back. So, like all the concerts I've been supposed to go to over the last, they're all happening. Like I was supposed to go to Rage last week.
Mm.
What happened? Did you get money back?
No, since they've postponed. This is what the point I was getting at. Since they've postponed it, you don't get your money back until the band physically cancels the show. You don't. So it's like Rage Against the Machine. It's been postponed with no date in the future. They have not. So I'm just out. I'm just out that money for 2 tickets.
Think of all the people that are out like $300, $400, $500 that bought the secondhand tickets and stuff.
Because I bought, what were they, $200 a ticket?
They were 100.
No, they're 120.
Yeah,
they're 125 plus taxes. So it was $300 for 2 tickets. So as of right now, I'm out $300.
My brother bought a bunch of tickets for a comedy show coming up, and he was worried that they weren't going to refund him because it says no refunds on whenever you buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But they refunded him. So
what happened was they said
We can't hear you, Lil Mac.
Come here.
But just like it's just so many concerts though.
They said they're rescheduling it. It was supposed to be April 4th. They said they're rescheduling it to November. And I said, well, I need my money back. Money's tight right now. And they said, okay.
Yeah, well, you look at companies and corporations like Disney. Disney, if you're paying for an annual park pass, you're still paying for it. They're still charging you that $100, and all they're gonna do is just add it on to the end of your contract. So if it's up in December, if they're closed for 6 months, they're gonna add 6 months to it, but you're still paying for that. So
affecting nothing is ever going to be the same. Nothing is ever going to be the same.
It's like the whole year of 2020 is just been put on hold. It sounds crazy saying that, but the calendar dates don't mean anything until this virus has got a vaccine.
right.
And no company is going to put themselves at risk to have the PR nightmare being the first company that gets sued because COVID was spread at their event.
And that's why I think they're going to. I think that's why they're going to postpone San Diego.
Yeah, there's lawyers that are like posting signs around the city right now about damn dog bites. Imagine all these COVID case signs are going to pop up from like the people getting spread viruses because of businesses not being careful enough to make sure that their public is not getting exposed to it.
See, that's fucked up. I would put that on those dumbass people for going into their business.
You can, but lawyers don't think that way. They're looking for their payday.
Yeah, that's why it's so important that when we go through a world pandemic like this, we all need to gather together. Like that was the first thing that I was thinking about this morning was how haven't there's no people rioting yet? You know what I mean? Like I would think that people would start going crazy, but
we haven't had a reason to riot yet. The moment they announce martial law, you'll see riots. If they ever
announce martial law,
I wouldn't put it past them. The way everything's getting shut down now, if they do martial law, you'll see riots.
The only time that there's going to be a riot if they shut down the internet. That's it. And when I'm not talking about like people that are rioting to, say they're against some law or something. I'm talking about douchebags out there throwing bricks through fucking windows of businesses and stealing stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's only been a few weeks.
And what
Give
I'm
it time.
I'm hoping that with the internet and everybody seeing what the shit that people's going through, no matter what part of society they're from or what part of the world they're from, like you look at what's going on in Italy, where everybody's coming together on their stoops, fucking singing and shit, and you look at all that. Hopefully, that's people going, okay, we're gonna try and beat this together rather than be a bunch of douchebags. I'm just hoping. We'll see.
It's like something that crossed my mind this past couple of weeks is you guys have seen the movie ID4 or Independence Day with Bill Pullman as president?
Yeah.
Wasn't that kind of like it's a movie where aliens come down from space to attack the world, and the only way that we survive is acting as one world, not individual nations.
Right.
And then after the whole movie that they defeat the aliens, they all get together, and we are no longer the divided countries of America. We're the united world of this universe. And it's something like that where, and I know this is not aliens, but this virus
are the aliens
nations. Do you know what I mean? And like that
we're supposed to be here right now. Like when the nuke was supposed to hit, the aliens were supposed to come and go, you guys aren't supposed to do that. Where the fuck are the aliens?
I think you need to lay off that Rick Simpson oil there, bud.
With the nation,
you see how we act towards this virus. Why would they tell us there's aliens? Fuck all that.
So
the toilet paper hoarders are not ready for aliens.
There was kids selling toilet paper out on the street the other day.
Oh my gosh.
So this is kind of crazy. Like it's destroying the spec world. Obviously, I mean, spec world. Nobody's spending money on comics, yet alone speculating on comics.
I did.
Like
I'm an idiot. I did.
You spec on a comic?
No, I spent money on a comic.
Oh no, I'm talking. People are spending money on comics to read comics. They're not spec.
Oh, yeah.
They're not spending money on comics to spec.
I bought a 122 Spider-Man.
Yeah, I bought
a
key. I bought a key
for $20. All right.
No.
So the crazy thing is that, like, what do you write about? And because everything's on hold, like CBSI, there's guys, it's hard to write about stuff like the top 10 for the hot 10. There's like, what are you going to write about this week for the hot 10? There's no news. There's no because like Ken says, everything has just stopped.
Yeah.
So there's no guys on sports radio are making shit up to talk about. What if this draft was redrafted? Because there's no sports. And when there's no sports, there's nothing to talk about. You know, the baseball card world has fucking died because we don't have players to spec on because they're doing good. You know, it's weird, dude. Everything has stopped.
Yeah, I think of it as a lifetime out. We're kind of in a, like, it sounds weird speaking of the sports thing, we're kind of at our all-star break. You know, it sounds like I know that sounds too rosy positive by saying all-star break, but it's more or less that it's time that we can't do anything about.
We're all enjoying the Corona commercial right now.
Yeah, it's like
doing nothing.
It's just there's no amazing entertainment taking place at halftime right now. You kind of have to, as I said too, like if anything, social distancing's becoming the exact opposite, where people are talking more than ever before now. Like I see people out in our neighborhoods, like hanging out in their porches now and saying hi, even though it's more than like 6 feet away. You're still seeing more people out of their house than I've ever seen in the past 20 years of living in my neighborhood.
What do you mean I just sit inside and be on the internet? Fuck you, I'm going outside then.
It's the opposite. Like people, yeah, you know, like me, when I used to work at home all the time, I loved it. And I could go.
You mean like now?
Well, I'm forced to again, but I could go out and, you know, separate work from home because I could go to the movies or go do whatever I wanted. And here you can't. So it's like, you never get away. People in the mental health industry are going to make gangbusters off of this because people are going to go crazy.
Too late.
Right. Even more crazy. But like you think that you would see more, I don't know, love, and if it's the opposite though, people, yeah, I don't know, people are turning on each other quick.
Really?
I don't really see that.
I don't watch the news, so I don't see any of that. To me, it's like Ken said. I go walk my dog. All my neighbors are out. I'm the same way. I've said hi and met new neighbors. I haven't been able to go shake their hand, but I know their names. We talk from across the street. You know.
Yeah, in your neighborhood, go to a grocery store and see what happens.
I've been to a grocery store. I was at a grocery store. I had I went in there to go grab some fucking adult wipes, and I knew toilet paper was gone, and I didn't care because I don't use toilet paper. So I hit the adult wipes, and there was a person there. This lady grabbed all the adult wipes, and she goes, "Here," and she gave me half. So
that's nice,
I see it. But again, I don't go out to the store. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just chill here. I don't watch the news. I don't watch the craziness. I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, what am I talking about? I hit up 3 Walmarts and 2 Targets like 3 days ago.
You're standing in line and people are like, back up, get away from me. Personal space, social distancing. Like,
I have not heard one person say that. Everybody's just naturally gapped themselves.
Yeah.
I haven't heard one. The only dude I've seen get close to me is the other day when I was telling you, I was at the grocery store. I was looking at the frozen food. I was thinking about getting that last box of taquitos. The guy standing next to me wanted them more than I did, so he fucking wedged in. We pretty much fucking touched swords, man, and he grabbed that box of taquitos, you know. But I was like, for the most part, everyone's just kind of gapping themselves on their own.
Like Michael Stout just said, domestic violence charges in major cities have tripled in 2 weeks.
Well, that's because everybody that's more. It's just like every Sunday night, domestic violence calls go up 32% because it's Sunday. You're stuck in the house all day together, and now you're pissed because you have to go back to work Monday. So you end up beating each other up. It's just the same thing. Everyone's just the people that are truly unhappy with each other are now stuck to each other in the house, so they're fighting more. The people who still have a decent relationship and you're stuck in the house, that's not really happening.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kyle.
The people that, you know, the domestic violences are up now, but those are the normal people that are getting the divide. You know, the cops are coming to their houses anyway.
I did see something today that'll make you smile, though, Brian. So at Walmart shopping, there's a guy weighing packs in the card aisle.
Why didn't you video
No,
him?
I was pulling out my phone, and as I'm pulling out my phone, a dude walked behind him. He had a little stack sitting on the side. As he's weighing him, and I was pulling out my phone, a dude walked behind him, picked up the stack, and walked off to the register.
Yeah.
So he didn't even get the packs he was weighing.
Yes. Yes.
But
That was awesome, dude.
I thought I saw a dude weighing packs when I was at the store, like early last week. He was sitting there and he was kind of like hunched over, and he was looking around a lot. And I was like, he'd have cards and he'd bring them back down. And I was like, and I kept trying to look
for the scale.
I was looking, yeah, because I wanted to say, where?
He's put him on his iPhone, weighing him.
Now they have like little mail scale
Little
things.
digital scales, yeah.
They weigh the packs.
But kind of to switch topics here. Michael Stout asked it a while ago, and I saw it, and I meant to touch on it. He wants to know, Ken, in your opinion, how has Diamond held such a monopoly on the comic distribution for so long?
It was cool. There was a great article that I read on the internet this week that talked about the history of Diamond getting control over the industry. Did you guys see that at all?
No.
Okay, it started off where more or less Marvel decided to distribute their own comics. And when Capital City, and then I'm trying to remember, there was a third distributor at the time too. When Marvel went on to distributing on their own, one of them folded, and then eventually Capital City was bought by Diamond. And when that happened, DC and all the other publishers signed it.
Isn't the town next to the Simpsons?
The what?
Isn't that the town next to the Simpsons?
Isn't that Shelbyville?
Capital City?
Oh, no. Yeah, Capital City. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Capital City was named one of the distributors. That was one of the last distributors that Diamond merged with. But when Marvel failed at their own distribution, they had no other choice but to sign with Diamond because everybody else was already there. And that's how Diamond became what they were. To make it short to the point as much as it was based off the article, it's about 8 paragraphs long.
I'm reading, sorry, not to interrupt, but real quick, I'm reading Grizzled Geek's comment. He says, and this is how I read it. This is funny how my brain works. And I hear, Buddy Shane works at AutoZone and people are assholes and refuse to stay behind the blue lines on the floor. And I'm thinking the guy's name, his first name is Buddy and his last name Shane. And I picture this dude with like a fucking mullet, like
I'm Buddy Shane.
Yeah, chilling in fucking, I'm Buddy Shane. I work at the AutoZone. He's got like the torn off sleeves.
Oh, so he's like Joe Exotic's brother.
Yeah.
Have you watched that yet? The Tiger King documentary? Oh my God, you've got to.
It's pure gold.
I can't watch things where they fuck up animals get fucked up.
You don't see it though. That's the thing. It's like they talk about it, but you don't actually see.
Yeah, they don't
any abuse.
All right.
It's more about.
Well, there was one where the
people.
tiger's dragging Joe Exotic around, and smacking him with his cane.
Yeah,
because the tiger likes his boots, so he's playing with his boots. There's a smell on his boots that it likes. It's not trying to hurt him. It's just like it, and he's like dragging him around. He's like, damn, let go. He's smacking it with his cane. That's like the most that it gets.
Like, have you heard about the premise of it, Brian?
As a matter of fact, yeah, I actually talked about it the other day with Keith on the show. So.
I'm telling you,
and Kyle,
Tiger's polygamy, a gay dude getting straight guys to marry him, a murder for hire ploy. Like
it's got everything.
It's got everything. Yes, it does, and it's so good.
They're trying to run for president, governor.
Yeah.
Giving out governor condoms. I mean, it's everything. It's got it all. You name it, it's in these episodes. It's the greatest.
Can you buy those condoms? You say you can buy them
on eBay, $150 right now.
Yeah, they're expensive. I was looking the other day. I was actually looking for the bumper sticker, one of his bumper stickers, and a lot of people are selling his condoms, not used.
The memes have been money. They've been fantastic.
Oh yeah, I agree. Because I had one that my good buddy Keith Obit stole an idea from another good buddy Matt Allward and made me part of the meme. You ready for it?
Nice.
Yeah, let's see it.
All right, let me just a second.
Have you watched or heard about this show, Ken? On
No,
Netflix?
what is it?
And it's a show on Netflix called Tiger King. It's a documentary.
All right,
It's a-
here we go.
No.
What's that?
Is it like a comedy or no?
No,
It's got
yeah,
comedy. It's got tragedy.
it's
got,
a comedy in the worst way because it's these people's real lives. But
And
It's
it's
just
not a
the-
documentary, it's like real legit
yeah,
documentary.
it's
yeah,
100%
it's
legit.
insanity.
These people
right,
are
you ready?
absolutely insane.
So here's Keith playing one off of one of Matt's go-tos.
Shameless plug.
Right? Shameless plug.
Oh yeah. This is a good segue.
Where the fuck is McClay?
Nice.
I thought you'd like that. So
That's awesome. Yeah, if you're ever in the mood, Ken, for something, just a weird documentary about some crazy people, Tiger King is where it's at. It's only 7 episodes. They're an hour long, but these people, there's
Is this
speculation.
kind of like a lot of lines?
What's that?
Is this kind of like a lot of lines of the Motley Crue documentary they did?
No, I don't think it's like the Dirt Sheet, but it's like
You have to watch
you
it.
have
It's
to. Yeah,
wild.
it's so
it's like the one on the Cats one, right?
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, really? So it's like that then? Okay, so don't F with cats type of thing too?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very much like that, but it's like these people's lives, and there's speculation that the woman Carol Baskin killed her husband because he was rich and fed him to her tigers, and like 'cause he just up and disappeared. Like the second episode, a worker at Joe's Zoo gets her arm ripped off, and 2 seconds later he's standing there in a probably $1,000 EMT bomber jacket. And he's just
Jeez.
talking about how he's not going to financially recover from it, and then like it just goes downhill.
When after his husband killed himself, he's wearing the Reverend, like a priest outfit when he's doing the fucking sermon.
Funeral, yeah. And he
Hey,
goes-
dude, how-
Balls on his face.
yeah, he talks about how the one thing he misses about his husband is when he rubs his balls in his face, and the dude's mom is sitting right there, like front and center, and just like it's so crazy. It's just so crazy. Like,
Dude, all I know is that one dude has a bunch of hot wives, and he rides in on an elephant, dude.
yeah. Then talking polygamy, and you find out that Joe is gay, and he marries 2 men, and then you find out that the 2 men he married aren't even gay. They've just been pretending this
What?
entire time. Yes,
Dude, meth and tigers, man,
yeah.
gets you every time. You love the cock after you get some meth and
You're
tigers.
going, and you get to about after episode 3, you're like, all right, I think I know what's going down. It's like a roller coaster. You get to the top of episode 3, and episode 4 is that tipping point where everything just goes downhill.
I seriously, after episode 4, I shut it off. I was like, all right, I've had enough of this for right now. This is insanity. And then about 15 minutes went by, and I was like, okay, I can't take it anymore. I have to find out what the fuck is going on. I went right back to watching it because I couldn't wait. But I was like, this is insane. This is fucking bonkers. I don't even understand this.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys talking about Cats or the Tiger one?
No, the
tiger one.
It's better than Cats, huh?
The Cats one is more. It's intriguing because it's the insanity of how they were getting away with it. This one is just like it's like meth rednecks gone wild. And
Yeah.
It's like, you know how you used to watch Jackass? It's almost how you watch Joe Exotic. You're just like,
Wow.
what the fuck is going to happen? What is, I can't believe they're actually doing this.
It's like watching a plane crash into a car crash into a redneck bar fight all in one. It's just,
Jeez.
it's absolutely wild.
Dude, we should get
Good
Michael
God.
Stout on here because he's been to his tiger zoo.
Send him
And
the
he-
link.
And
he wants to come on.
if he wants to come on, he's talking about it in the chat. That's why I was talking to him about it. And I guess he used to do indie wrestling commentary.
Really?
Joe Exotic.
Oh, is this Wilbanks?
Yeah.
Is this Michael Wilbanks?
No. This is
Okay.
this is someone else. But
All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna run over and do the hot 10 real quick. I'll be back.
all right.
I thought there was no hot 10.
Yeah.
You lying motherfucker. Whatever, Scarlett Johansson, get out of here.
How you
There
doing
is a
a
hot
hot 10
I'll
when no one
explain
wants to
when
do
I
a
come
hot
back.
10?
Oh, there's no hot 10. People are buying comics. I got to see you guys later because I'm doing the hot 10.
Yeah, but
So what's on the hot 10 this week?
we'll know when he comes back, I guess.
When he usually, when before the time change, he did the hot 10 before he went over. And now he does the
Okay.
hot 10 when it comes back because of how
That's
early
cool.
he has to get off. Yeah, Newbie thinks that's the stupidest show ever.
What?
Joe
Tiger
Exotic.
Joe
yeah.
Exotic? Dude,
It's insane.
it is. It's pure insanity.
Hey, dude. And I was excited to watch Ozark this week. I haven't had a chance to start on Ozark season 3 yet. But this sounds like Ozark's kind of like the kiddie pool compared to this tiger thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's
I thought Shaq was in it because he bought a
he
tiger.
bought tigers
from
from him, yeah.
Yeah.
And now people are calling them people are calling them best friends, and Shaq had to come out and say we're not best friends. I have nothing to do with him. But Joe
sells tigers, or what's the deal?
Yeah, he would breed
bought
and sell tigers.
Yeah, breed and sell tigers. We found out through just casual conversation. Everyone, most people are getting a $1,200 stimulus check from the government for this Corona thing, right? We found out,
Okay.
1, it is not illegal to own a tiger. 2, it's about $2,000 to buy a baby cub. You pull your
Dude,
stimulus check
We're
with a friend.
all buying tigers.
Yep.
You're buying a tiger. You're buying a tiger. You're buying a tiger. Newbie is buying a tiger.
You know that someone's going to do it. Someone's going to buy a tiger just because of all of this.
Well, it's easy. We Googled the other day
Yeah.
buying a tiger, and it was the easiest thing to find.
Baby tigers
Nice.
for sale came up $2,000. You can buy monkeys for $1,200. Like, no problem. No problem.
So technically, if you're married, you can add 2 kids and the 2 monkeys you purchase off the internet. Can you write them off as tax write-offs?
Right? But yeah.
So for 2021, you got like that. I have my 2 little monkeys, which are actually chimpanzees that you write off as your kids in 2021.
Yep, there you go.
I'm trying to find how to buy an elephant.
If
I
you're
want a baby
married,
elephant.
there you go. $2,400, you got yourself a baby tiger.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Enjoy that. But like it is the show
Can you
goes
call
so
the-
crazy that he's in jail right now, prison, because he allegedly put a hit out on one of the other tiger people, and paid someone $3,000 to kill this woman. Yeah,
Yeah, he does the
Wow.
interview while he's in the bath talking to you about it.
He does an interview for a documentary in the bathtub.
He draws a bath and gets into it and takes
Yeah.
a bath.
You don't see anything, but he's
Oh,
literally
God.
in the bathtub doing this interview.
That's absurd. It's like that. I didn't know
The whole fucking show is absurd.
Yeah, dude. I had no idea that the tiger selling market was so volatile.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's cutthroat. It's clearly cutthroat.
So the chick that killed her husband, who fed her husband the tigers, was
Jeez.
on live Facebook this morning, and Matt was posting in there. She was talking about this whole. I mean, it's given her a lot of publicity. So she works off of donations and volunteers and stuff. So she's spinning it to her advantage. But I mean, everybody was in there just roasting her.
The lady who was being accused of killing her husband and feeding him to tigers. Is who he's
God.
talking about. Like, yeah. She was talking about her ex today, and she said something about him disappearing, and people just kept air quoting disappearing and just roasting her throughout.
This is like
And
it's like Breaking Bad real life, but with
Yeah.
tigers here, dude.
But with tigers,
Yeah, that's insane.
what
Wow.
tigers and meth will do to you.
but
Yeah.
Joe Exotic would do anything to make a buck. He would go and get the expired meat from Walmart and use it to feed his animals. And then at one point he opened a pizzeria in his animal park, serving the expired meat on pizza to people.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's the dude was not above trying to make a buck, man. running for governor and president, and he
Dude,
ran
the
for
people-
president in the last election.
What's this guy's name again?
Joe Exotic. He ran as a
Is his name
libertarian.
really Joe Exotic?
Yeah, his name he goes by Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic?
Yeah.
His last name's not really exotic.
No, his
but-
last name's not Exotic, but that's what he goes by is Joe
Like Joe
Exotic.
Biden? What?
No, right? But it's
Uh-huh.
so. That's why Kyle's name is the GuineaPig Prince, because he said we were going to start our own documentary called the GuineaPig Prince and mockumentary it.
about the breeding guinea pigs and selling them
On the black
for
market.
high dollar and having a guinea pig zoo
But yeah,
Yeah,
like,
where I'm
you
going
won't-
to train them to jump through hoops and stuff.
He'll be on America's Got Talent next year.
one of his husbands.
Here
oh,
comes the guinea pig prince.
Yep.
With the amazing guinea pigs. Winning America's Got
Watch.
Talent.
They start doing backflips and shit.
walking the little tightrope.
They'll have them go through like the flaming hoops. It's like, oh my gosh.
The two trapeze ones will be the flying Graysons.
There you go.
Nice, dude. That'd be awesome. AGP. You get the, what do you call it? The call, and I can't remember the guy's name, would like give you the buzzer. It's like they boo him for giving you the buzzer.
Cal.
What do you mean? Yeah, Simon Cal. It's like, what's the problem, Simon? It's like, oh, I just don't get it. I don't know. My kid doesn't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's the worst Simon Cowell impression you'll ever see.
That's it. Yeah, that's the whole Tiger documentary thing though. Like Kyle was like, "You got to watch it, man. You got to watch this." And a couple of our other friends were like, "You got to watch this." And then some of like the most conservative people that wouldn't be into that start telling me about it and how they watch it, how crazy it is. Like, I've got to watch it. So I binged it all last Saturday, and I haven't been able to think of anything else since. It's just crazy.
It's awesome. It's fucking
It poisons
awesome.
your mind. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it does. It poisoned my
Dude,
mind
man,
because
dude.
the memes are on point, and the dude's a country music star too, and he writes a country music album about it, and or songs
I
about
wish-
stuff. And
I wish Brian was on right now. So when I was on Bobcast the other night and we were talking about this, I guess that's not really him singing.
that's what I've heard too. That it's
And-
someone, he's
and-
lip syncing,
And
Wow.
the
Sounds like
guy who's actually singing,
Sounds like the Dos Equis guy.
right?
Keith is like, like 3 degrees of Kevin Bacon from the person that is actually singing those songs.
Really?
Like that guy wrote and sang the songs, and he's just kind of Joe Exotic's just kind of lip syncing, and dude, I was watching the other day. I was watching his videos because he forever he was doing little YouTube clips and
Yeah.
about his zoo and everything, and just watching these videos and just knowing the backstory to all this stuff makes those videos on YouTube so much better. Because you're just like, that guy's gonna kill himself.
Right?
That person's gonna lose an arm.
Yeah.
Like it's like
It's like
Oh my god.
it's like that scene in Hot Tub Time Machine in real life when they're going on giving the bellhop a hard time about losing an arm, and he hasn't lost yet, and they're like, "You're gonna lose that arm. You don't know when, but you don't know how, but you're gonna lose
Jeez.
that arm, and you know it,
like
right?"
like when they had the secretary on and she's talking about her favorite animal. I'm like, she's gonna start banging his husband.
Yeah. It's
Like it's
Good God.
it's crazy
It's
watching those
cutthroat.
videos because you're like,
It's like,
man, I
What's
got
going to happen
connected.
next on the show?
yeah, it's cutthroat.
It's crazy.
It, oh my
Hey.
god, Joe Exotic TV. And then he when Kyle was talking about the tiger messing with his shoes, he said that somebody was trying to kill him and put something on his shoes, and
Good God.
the one woman who's accused of killing her husband was like, "Oh, well, the only way you're gonna get tigers to mess with the shoe is if you put sardine paste or sardine smell on them or something, supposedly," and everyone just roasts her for that. Oh, so that's how you did it, huh? You covered them in sardine smell, and it's so crazy. It's
You got Netflix. Just check it out.
watch
Okay.
it. It's
Yeah, dude, I'm kind of afraid to go down that wormhole based off what I'm hearing so far.
Oh man, it's worth it. It's worth that
It is
rabbit
worth
hole.
it.
It really is.
Really? Okay.
it's worth that. Rabbit.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like that once I start watching it, show. I can't stop watching.
Well, they're only like 40 minutes, so, and there's only like 7 or 8. So
There's 7 episodes, yeah. It's
How long's each episode?
40 minutes.
40 minutes,
45
yeah.
minutes. They're not long.
like you
Okay.
Just
What?
enough to leave more.
once
want
you
more.
get into it, by like episode 6, but at the end of episode 1, I was like, what in the ever loving hell am I watching right now? And then, but you can't look away. You got to keep watching the next one and the next one and the next one. And next thing I know, like the 7 hours have gone and I'm on the last episode. Like
Jeez.
I couldn't stop watching it.
It's like watching WrestleMania now, right?
Yep. That's getting excited for that.
I mean, there's so many backstories and so much drama and so
Yep.
much
Because this is like,
unfolding. It's close.
dang, dude. Yeah, I was gonna say too. It's like WrestleMania. It's like 8 hours now. It's like that. You got an extra hour to make your chili and nachos with that.
You can pretty much it is because I mean Joe Exotic releases these YouTube clips and stuff, and he's basically cutting promos on Carol Baskin and cutting promos on other people about how crappy they are, and yeah, it's so crazy.
The only bummer is they shut all the comments off to all of his stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure he was getting roasted too, just like Carol is in her live streams, but it's. Oh my God! I've been talking about it all week, like
Nonstop.
It just won't go away.
Our group chat is filled with nothing but like Tiger King memes and GIFs and everything. It's insane.
Yeah,
Jeez, dude.
just like
Yeah, now I gotta get on the boat and see what's going on.
Get on the
you do.
boat, sail on it, and crash in it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the Titanic. It's gonna sink you.
Oh,
You
shit.
can't fight it. It's like this boat's going down. You can't stop it.
Like it's so crazy that there's celebrities fighting over who are going to play these characters in movies on Twitter. Like Dak Shepard and Edward Norton are both arguing over playing Joe Exotic, and Kate McKinnon has already been cast to play Carol Baskin, the woman who's allegedly murdered her husband.
She's already cast.
Yeah, it's crazy how they're going to turn into movies, and it's crazy. It's
Sounds like easy movie material, much less like you make another Netflix series just about the fictionalization.
They're talking about it.
Like,
yeah,
dude.
just like who would have known that polygamy and drugs and tigers all ran in the same circle?
Jeez.
So
God, steroids make them bigger too, as well. People like the tiger growth hormones.
Right,
Putting some Charlie Sheen blood in them.
right.
Yeah, dude. It's like that. Does Charlie Sheen? Did he drink that
That's where he's getting its tiger
blood?
from.
Right.
It must be. It must be what he's getting the tiger blood from.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Kyle?
I was actually going to swing. I had more comic book
Go ahead.
questions. I was going to swing back around to that. So now that you're delivering, are you noticing how many of your box holders is 30%, 20%? Are you delivering to them, or is it smaller, or is it most, or how's that working?
So far, it's been a mixed bag of tricks with the delivery. I mean, so far, I've only done 15 deliveries, and it's not a loss, but just to have the ability to do it for people, I think hopefully that'll circulate around that, hey, we're doing it in a safe way as possible. I pretty much, here you go. It's like that. Here's your books. You know, I mean, hope everything's doing well. You stand 6 feet away from the people and just try to be human with each other, man. That's been the coolest thing about it, is having some decent short conversations with customers about just how they're doing outside of reading comic books. And that's people I delivered to this house yesterday for her son. And she's like offering me cans of soda. And I'm going like, no, don't worry about it. You don't have to give me anything else extra for it. It's just like, but you could see that she was excited to see someone else besides her family. The general consensus I've been seeing with a lot of people is like, realize like, you know, I know customers like us, but it's cool to see that bond that we've made with the customers over the years that they see us as more than just someone selling them comics. And that's like, to me, really kind of cool to see even more volumes turned up than even just seeing people come into the store and say hi to us. And it's weird. There's concern out there. People are concerned for us. People are concerned for each other, and it's genuine. And I really appreciate the genuineness we're getting from the community of people that are more concerned about our well-being and making sure we come back, rather than concerned about, oh, am I going to get sick by going in to see a pickup, or, you know, am I going to get sick from them delivering comics to my house, or am I going to get sick, or, you know, how bad is this going to be by getting my comic books to me? And I mean, I've waived a lot of delivery fees for people too as well recently. I kind of want people to get their comics, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I understand there's financial stresses going on now too as well. The full spectrum of all kinds of responses as to what's happening with this COVID-19 virus. It's really kind of unprecedented for what we're dealing with in this community. I hope that answers the question okay, Kyle. It's really like spiral of emotions of things I've experienced over the past 2 weeks.
See, what you should do is you should make it to where when your delivery service, you gently, you know, don't roll them so there's grease marks, but just roll them up and put a rubber band on them, put them in a t-shirt gun, and have your daughter hang out the window as you drive by and just fire it out of the t-shirt gun.
No, you should do it like you're the mailman or the paper boy. Just get on a bike with a basket, roll them up, and throw them at doorsteps.
Yeah, there you go. throw their comics.
You could be real life paper girls without the time travel and the aliens.
Exactly, dude. But yeah, it's been surreal. As I said too, is like that. I really don't know where this is gonna go, and do you know how this is gonna turn out? But I mean, I've always had belief that humanity finds ways to make things work, and you know, it's really, as I said too, like I hate being at a loss of answers because I'm always trying to find out what's the next things work without compromising values or people in any way. But it's a challenge for everybody in the world right now. And I said too is like don't lose your humanity. It's that's the best way to think about this, is like it's only temporary. Everything I've ever dealt with in my life is I don't think that anything's permanent, but I don't think anything is you know, permanently good or permanently bad. Everything's temporary, and we find ways to make our ways through.
What do you?
That's what I see what's going on right now.
What is your opinion as a store owner on other people doing fundraisers to keep their stores going, or things like that? Like there's people starting GoFundMe's for local shops, and
yeah, it's people are trying to do whatever they can to survive. I mean, I don't want to judge people that are doing GoFundMe if they can't afford keeping their doors. And but the whole thing too is it's hard to do a GoFundMe because how much money is going to be enough?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? As I said too, that if there's no money coming in at all for the people that are doing the GoFundMe, I don't know. It's that hairy area of doing what's needed versus opportunism. You know what I mean? The what?
So that hairy area, that's a term to use. That's the way.
Well, if you think about it like this, it might be a weird way to think about it. It's okay. We're gonna start a GoFundMe for the comic book store, so we can still get our comic books later, and we can still pay for everything. Then technically, we're paying for our comics twice.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. The hold up on everything too. You can't. Yeah, you can't distribute comics or prepay for comics because once the comics go into print, they still need to be paid for from Diamond or for whoever's distributing them. Do you know what I mean? It's like that. Double dipping is the number one thing that people got to be careful about not doing, because as I said too, like these things are going to come out at a point. And when you're paying for them, if you're taking that money as a comic book retailer now and they do come out and you don't have the money for all of them that you put on order because not everybody's taking advantage of this, where's that going to go? You're still not going to have enough to pay for that bill.
Yeah.
Customer that gave you that money to hold for them for that comic.
Yeah.
And what's that line that you draw for them?
Yeah, I think the GoFundMe and stuff, it's kind of a gray area. I look at it as kind of a gray area. Like I see the point of it, but I also see that like now you're charging me twice for things.
Yeah.
Especially like, product. Hey, so we can, and I know it's part of it's going to go to rent, part of it's going to electricity, water, employees.
Yeah,
but
that's what the government's SBAs are supposed to be helping out with. I know it sounds like you can't depend on the government to take care of everything for you, obviously, but to get the crowdfunding and making sure that you're showing everything that where you're spending your money is got to be the most responsible way of that. Like I've never really been too keen on crowdfunding as a way to solve any problem because as I said too, you have to not only raise enough money to make it worthwhile, you also have to make sure that you're coming. Oh man, I'm sorry, dude. I'm having a brain fart. You're having to provide everything that you promise in the crowdfunding, and if you don't do that, then this guy just took me, and you don't want compromising the integrity of your business to something that you feel is a great idea in a panic moment.
Well, I kind of feel like you gotta be careful too, because like you said before, with the way the stimulus packages and all that, are you getting taken advantage of? Because the government is putting, it's only been a month. The stimulus package has grants in it that small businesses don't have to pay back to pay their bills and pay their employees. And
see, I heard different. I heard it's a loan.
There's stipulations to where you don't have to pay it back. And these guys, it hasn't even been a month yet, technically, and these guys are doing GoFundMes already for this stuff. And how do you know how long this is going to last? How do you know you're putting in the money you've got and they're turning around and have their hand out and getting bailed out and all their bills are getting paid? So now you're just giving them extra money.
Yeah, but on the same note, it hasn't been a month, it's been weeks. But like, okay, Ken, if you didn't sell any product for 3 weeks, you'd be stressing like there was no tomorrow.
Well, I understand going forward, but right now, we've only gone 1 week without new comics, and that's not to mention that if they're selling back stuff and back stock or figures or whatever else they're selling, And
I mean, did you notice a big decline in people buying books over the last month, Ken?
In new comics or
in general, just sales?
Yeah, like over the month before that we weren't able to stay open anymore, I was kind of impressed. We actually stayed. It was almost like there was a little bit of fear that people were going to say, when's going to be my last chance to walk in the comic shop? When's going to be that where I need to step up and support my comic shop owner? I had so many people that came in to just try to say that hey, we're here just every week for you, whether you get new comics or not. Or can I put comics do come in that money is there to help buy my new books? That too is like nothing that we more or less solicited in any way, but just ideas that customers were coming to us with. And it was really kind of surreal to see like that, almost that customers were concerned that this was going to come. And they didn't want to miss out on their opportunity to help out the comic shop before the doors were locked for the month. And it wasn't a huge amount, don't get me wrong, because I said too, is like that it may have only been like 10 to 20% of the customers, but it was pretty cool to see that happen. And then the people that we didn't see during that time, is we only see them once a month anyway, or sometimes forget they have a comic subscription in the first place. And it's like that. It's something they're more of like a casual customer rather than the diehard customer.
Mhm.
With the diehard customers, I really did feel like a sense of urgency to make sure that they could try to make sure that the comic shop survive through everything that's going on right now.
Yeah. So, all right. So to kind of end things here tonight on a note, let's put on our future thinking
kind of
caps
note?
and we're gonna put on our
Our detective hats.
detective. You can go
I'll be
detective.
true to that.
I was gonna say
Yes,
more.
I got to see like
Yeah, I was gonna
that
say
Steve
more like
Klein
our John B from Pee Wee's Playhouse fortune teller hats. What do we think? And this is just purely opinion. What do you think once this is all said and done, the comic book landscape is gonna look like, as far as retail stores, physical copies? What do you think? Do you think this is gonna have a lasting impact on the industry, or how do you think it comes out of this?
Years.
it cut out on me there for a second, but more or less what I got is like, what do you think the future impact is going to right now on the comic industry, or no?
Mhm,
What
yeah.
is the future impact? When this is all said and done, what do you think the future impact this is all going to have on the comic book industry, as not only the comic book industry as a whole, but as like local shops and the local landscape and in areas and things like that?
Okay. That's a very, very good question. Putting on the predicting the future hat, I do believe like one, it's going to become status quo. Damn, this really sucked. That was one of the worst moments in comic history when there was no comics, but we got all the comics we want now, and our way through it. That's like I guess the best case scenario. Do you know what I mean? Is like that everything was put on hold for 4 to 5 weeks, maybe 2 to 3 months. But once things open up again, it's, as I said too, it's like, to me, once again, it's kind of like summer vacation right now. School's going to start up again next year. Right now, we're kind of in that time of like, between, I don't know how to say it, almost like that fearful time of like, hey, I'm graduating high school and I'm starting college next year. Am I going to go to work? What am I going to do with my life after I'm done with this point? But at the same time, something does come up to happen. Do you know what I mean? You do get that first job. You do start college. And that 3 months in between everything is still there. And it's a starting point. Do you know? So how we know comics up to this point, a new starting point, that's going to happen. And whether that means a bunch of titles at one time, I doubt it. I really do think that it's kind of pressing the pause button and on like a DVD or on a Blu-ray, and you get up, you walk away, you come back, you hit play again, and you didn't miss a beat. But at the same time, though, worst case scenario, a lot of comic shops end up can't surviving this financially, and whatever's left out there is out there, and that sucks. One of those shops, or I hope I am. I'm pretty sure we'll be, but at the same time, though, is like, comic industry has been around since 1930, and World War II, there was a recycling paper effort. And I hate saying historically, it's, I don't think this is the end of the world. It's not going to just be comics we should be worried about. It should be a whole lot of other things too. And I think this is just, once again, something that is going to work its way out. It's going to suck for a while, but I do believe that things are going to work their way. We're all going to be better off, because the one thing that's going to be cool about this whole thing, it's a learning experience. It's uncharted territories. It's territories where we're going to have to make like new, like as I said too, we talked earlier about
It's like he's on a
clearing
cell
up the
phone.
nation in a distribution warehouse. Happens again. Will that be something that is a viable way to make sure it doesn't happen again? But as of right now, I just danced around the question. I know, but there's no real answer right now. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think it's going to be. I think personally that I think a lot of people are going to be like, "Holy shit! Everything crumbled for me in a second's notice." And I think a lot of people are like, are learning. All right, it's gonna that insecurity of okay, this can happen again easily. That the carpet is swept out from under my feet. Maybe I shouldn't be spending all this money on all these little luxury things that I used to. And I think that's what a lot of people are going to be doing for a while. And I think it's going to be a long, bumpy road for a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah, especially if there's no revenue funding coming in from anything. Like if these stimulus checks aren't enough, you're right. People are going to get really conservative with their dollars.
We got to look at how many people are getting conservative now. How many people are stocking up on home groceries instead of going out to eat. People are doing a lot of things differently. And I think a lot of people are learning, holy shit, I was a little bit frivolous with my money. And I think this is, this has taught a lot of people like, holy shit, I need to watch out. You know what I mean? Like, do you think a lot of people are going to be like, okay, I know I bought a lot of comics. Maybe I should just go down to my core few that I really, really want to keep. Do you expect seeing more of that kind of stuff happening after you guys come back?
I do hope that what we're going to see is right now we have a lot of people that are, I said too, is like that. If they don't not stick with the comic industry as a whole, but the people that have like the huge passion for the product will come back to it.
You think
and as I said too, is like that. Go ahead.
So do you think this will sway more people to finding other means to get comic books like digital and more free ways to be able to find comics? For people, I still want to read comics.
Again, like the yeah. Well, I said too, the comic industry is really trying to protect the world from digital. Do you know what I mean? That's what we're getting the message of right now. Is like digital we know is an option, but we don't want it to be the option. And as I said too, is like that with my whole I don't like about digital is that there's no sharing capability with digital. Are you going to give someone your computer or your iPad or your smartphone? Say, here, dude, read some of these comics.
I think it's easier to share with digital.
Phone.
Here's my thumb drive. Here is 700 issues of Amazing Spider-Man. Enjoy.
Well, not you don't know how. Let me Dropbox you.
Yeah, these, like like there's a thumb drive I still carry around with me everywhere I go that has like the first 115 Walking Deads on it, and I've known so many people go, man, I like to read the Walking Dead. Here you go, bring it back to me tomorrow. They have the first 115 issues to get into it. It's digital's, yeah, exactly. You here, hold on, and you Dropbox them an entire story arc.
Yeah, I said too. That's that I'm dealing with too as well. It's like that I said too is like there's those that too is that's just more or less I guess with anything too with ID sharing your Netflix account. I guess those are options that are out there to share their comic book collections, but the collector and I said too the readers, like I said too, I've been a reader for years too, but I've been a collector the whole time as well. And in the 1990s, the crash was caused by people that were more or less overbuying product that didn't have the long-term liquidity that they were hoping for.
And then $5 words here.
And when all those people that jumped on board for that left, do you know what I mean? And then the readers were left behind again.
But that's what we're seeing now.
Happening again.
We're seeing a resurgence of that with the spec market. Yes. People are jumping in just to flip and to make a quick buck and not in it for the long haul.
Yeah, but the difference is they're not printing as many comics.
Those people may not be back. As I said too, is like that it's like the thing with comics too is like what I've seen like over the past that are selling really well still are the bigger investment books, like the Silver Age books, the Golden Age books, the books that are like your super keys. I mean, like that the recent, I guess you would say, hot market that's like more longer. That market's going to be, I think, the market that's going to suffer the most. I mean, what I miss the most right now in comic collecting is Wizard Magazine's top 10. And with the Wizard Magazine top 10, what they would do is they would reach out to comic shop owners across the country to comply their data. Right now, what you're seeing is everyone's just gathering data through internet auction sales. And that can change from week to week. But then with Wizard, the comic book stores would sell the comics, and then they would report on what was selling out, and they also report for what was going more than cover price. And then that they compile their 10 list monthly on that. With what's going on now, there's a lot of outside forces that are controlled by pre-orders more now than waiting for the comic to even come out. And then when the pre-orders are determining the value of the comic before it even hits the stands, it's
Like
not really established area market.
Like you just saw with Batman and the whole punchline thing, driving up sales.
That's
before the book even comes out. So
see, I think the only thing, like, I don't mind reading digital comics because there's enough apps out there that it's just like having a Nook. You just flip the pages. But the thing about collecting comics is, you know that there's a value there. There's a true, like,
absolutely,
like, okay, hey, I got that. Yeah, and the thing is, people who like I'm still gonna read Batman if it's digital or not. I'm still gonna read it, but you just don't, because like anytime you tell anybody, you meet somebody and you talk to them, you go, yeah, I collect comic books. How much is your most expensive comic book worth? Like that's you know what I mean? And you rattle it off. You know exactly what your books are worth. Like, you know what I mean? And that's part of collecting something, is that there is a monetary worth behind it. It's you like the physical copy because you know that it's cool to have stuff in your hands, but I mean, you read stuff on the internet all day long. When it comes down to it, you truly don't have to have a physical comic book in your hand. You can read it on your computer with no problem.
See, but I love the feel of the physical copy in my hand, and I love the smell.
But there's no problem with doing it though.
Like, I think nothing beats the smell when you open up like a Gold or Silver Age book, and just the way that paper smells, and like it's to a comic fan, it's awesome.
All those Golden Age books you're pulling out and reading.
No, I'm just saying, but like today when I got 122 in the mail, I opened it, and just the smell of the paper, like it's just it's what part of being a comic book fan and collector is about.
Yeah, but you're not reading a lot of Silver and Age books. You're reading new books that have that new synthetic smell to it. So you're not even physical new books. You're not even getting that comic book smell to it. The other reason you're getting that comic book smell is because they've been sitting in smokers' houses and stinky people's houses and God knows where for so long. Because they didn't smell like that off the rack. Yeah. It's from sitting around in mildewy houses and moisture houses, and people's houses have this natural smell, and these books go from house to house, and they marinate and they stay there, and then they get this old smell to it. And so what you're enjoying is like,
it smells like grandma's antiques.
People funk.
Grandma's antiques.
But but as new books, that kind of your whole point behind it is kind of not there, because it doesn't have, new comic books don't have that smell.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. So
it's like, what?
Say one more time, because you glitched out on me there for a second.
No, you glitched out on us. Is what happened.
Yeah, you're glitching out on
you're glitching out on us. Yeah. I'm not glitching. I pay a lot of money for upload.
Nice.
But no, what I'm saying is, I said new comic books don't have that comic book smell. that everybody's like that Matt's whole point
Okay.
to reading physical books was that old comic book smell. But you're reading new comic books, so you're not getting that old comic book smell
Well, even
and that
still,
new
the
issue of
smell of the
Punchline that you
paper.
just got. But it's not that comic book smell. It's just that synthetic material smell that you're getting
Thanks,
of
Neil
the
deGrasse
way
Tyson.
It's
of the way the ink is. I mean, it's true though.
No, I know what you're saying.
But you don't.
with comic collecting, whether it's new or old. I think a lot of it is you start wanting to complete your sets, and
But
like
you
say
can do
for
that
instance, like you
digitally.
know what
It's easier digitally.
you can, but
I have
That's the
all
twos
the
like that,
Spider-Man
like
books
art-
digitally.
like for instance, like as art connoisseurs or art people that just enjoy art. Like you can have your more or less your computer screen go through photo scrolling of your favorite times, see that piece of art as a print or as an original and buy it and put it on your wall and share it with people. And it's like the same type of thing with comic books and with coins or with stamps or from, posters or even people that collect cars. Like look at Barrett Jackson every year, dude. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can have pictures of all those cars digitally inside of your drive, but thousands of people every year go to Barrett Jackson to experience
The
these
falafels.
things. What?
Oh,
No, I mean, no, I see it. There's nothing like it's like it is. I enjoy having it, but I'm just saying, if it came down to it, I don't mind reading them digitally. If I had to pick between not reading comics or if DC came and said, okay, we can't get you physical books in hand, but here's a comic book, I'm not going to go, fuck you, physical or nothing.
I am.
Yeah.
You're
Something's
a fucking
better
liar
than nothing, no
too.
matter what you're in.
You're such a fucking liar.
Well, something.
But the point of collecting
Something's
something is
better-
you're collecting something for money. Even Barrett Jackson, the reason those people are buying those cars is because they're collecting something. They're collectors. That's why we like physical
There's
books.
got to be some people that are. Yeah. And I said too is like that. There's nothing.
No, you didn't.
But I do know like that comics, has been a collector medium for years. And will it always be a collector medium? Yeah, I hope so. But as I said too, is that right now, if the digital is the only format we get, it's gonna piss a lot of people off. But at least it's still there.
At least that's kind of my point, is you're still gonna read them. But we like collecting them because we know we have this value. We have all these cool books. Like, there's nothing
It's
cooler
good
saying,
conversations.
yes, I have this. What about this? Oh, I've got this cool book. Look at this. Like when I went into your store the other day, the first thing I showed you was, look at the book I just got signed and graded.
Yes.
Like there's
That's
nothing,
awesome.
there's nothing cooler about having these pieces that not everybody has. Like
It forges friendships. Like, you make relationships off of it.
Yeah, it's social interaction. It's the beauty of comic collecting. I mean, as I said too, it's like it does suck to have like a pile of all these books that you never hey dude, check this out, dude. It's like that. Oh, you like comics? I like comics too, man. It's like, what are some of your favorite books? It's like, oh cool, let me show you some of them. That's it's interaction. It's the beauty of the hobby. That's the too, like
still
digital.
do that. You can do that with digital. Hey,
there,
man,
but
I'll email you that copy. Right on, man. Thanks.
yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm not. As I said too, is like that. I don't like.
I don't
the
lend my
whole just
comic books
plain
out. That's
digital.
goddamn sure.
Nope. Let me get you the digital copy
what?
because you're not taking my physical.
Exactly.
So I'm not.
Why don't you Google that shit and find it and read it? But it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. I'm not
Go to
letting
your
you
local
borrow
comic
nothing.
store and fucking buy one.
That's how it comes back with the spine ticks and rolls and Cheeto dust on pages.
Thank you for finger fucking my book,
Yep.
asshole.
Yeah, rolled up and put a thumb
Yeah.
It's like having Todd
at the
McFarlane sign your
newspaper.
book.
Thanks, man.
See, I have a different outlook in ways than you guys do on how this comes out. I think the comic book industry survives, but it's gonna be it's gonna change, because I think people are gonna lose interest depending on how long this goes. You might lose interest in storylines, forget storylines are even going on, and I think you're gonna see a lot of people that are spending right now walk away from the hobby, and maybe not just because they don't have the money to spend, but because they lost interest in it, depending how long this goes on, and they lost interest into the storylines, or I don't think a lot of shops are gonna make it out of this, and I think some will, if they've diversified their stuff, like we talked about before. If you're more diversified in selling back issues or cards or figures and things like that, I think you've got a better chance of surviving this, versus if you're just selling comics, or there's some shops, I'm not gonna name them, that come to my mind, that if it comes out that they don't make it past all this, I would be like, I'm not surprised.
If you're not selling over different mediums and
Right.
different ways, then I was exactly going to say what Mike just said. If they're smart and this lasts longer than 2 months, and you think people are going to lose interest, start everything at number one. We're starting everything over.
You're 100% right, and that's where I was going next with this. Is that this is a perfect time for the Marvel and DC to look at what they've got. They reboot every 3 years basically, anyways, and we're getting up to that with Rebirth. So, take this time to look at what you've got and assess and be like, do what we have coming out going forward, is that what we want, or do we want to change now and pivot and slowly roll stuff back out when this ends, with new number ones or different storylines, and then maybe finish off what you have in like a trade or a giant issue, kind of like they did with the final issue of Walking Dead, or finish it off, those storylines later on, but just roll out with new stuff, because their stuff wasn't the greatest right now to begin with.
God, I think that's walking a fine line of pissing off the only readers you have left.
What, start from number one, or?
Yeah. Yep.
You're going to have to, what we were talking about was like we were talking about the recovery of it, how it's going to be. I think a lot of people are going to be more conservative when it comes to buying comic books. They're not going to be, you know what I mean? They're not going to be just buying all those awesome covers, buying all the variants, buying certain runs just because it's a certain character in it or a certain person's drawing it. I think a lot of people are going to go back down to their core few that they truly love. And that's really what people are going to do.
I think you hit on an important point there too, Kyle, about the fact of all the different variant covers that are being thrown at us. Like, for instance, does Vampirella need 6 covers per month? Do you mean it's like that? That's something that hurts comic shops as a whole if we don't sell through all 6 covers. And it's nice for the customer and the consumer to have all those options, but you may see more and more comic shops just limit to, hey, we just want to get the one cover that we think is going to sell the best. And you're a retailer that you do want that other cover, because they're not going to be able to order them quite as much if they don't have this money saved up for when this starts back up again. Because if this starts back up again and you have like 6 to 10 covers for number one of a book that starts up, it's like, are we doing a disservice to the consumer, or is the industry doing a disservice by giving us all those options that we have to pay for and hope that they? So you may be right on the head there. It's like the variants are going to be something that is definitely going to have to shrink back up for comic shops that are coming off of this to be able to.
Comic shops in Arkham?
I think it's going to
Did I
be.
glitch out again, obviously?
Yeah, just for a second.
But at what point do you potentially see the comic book that?
Yeah, my family's watching it. Apocalypse.
At what point do you see Diamond or the market potentially putting shops out of business that's on its own? Because you can't afford, depending how long this goes, shop owners aren't going to be able to afford to buy new books, and they're not going to be able to afford to buy those extra issues to get that 1 in 100 variant, and people are going to go elsewhere. So at what point do you think that maybe it might even be responsible for putting itself out of business?
Yeah, like as I said too, is that's something that's been a concern even before all this. Like you're saying earlier, was the comic industry as I said too, if like for retailers, it's a very fragile place when there's all of these products that are being thrown at us to purchase for our consumers in hope that they're going to buy it. And being like, you have to be super, super diligent not to over order on anything these days, because, I go back 10, 12 years, I've been open 15 years now. We used to order for holding back issues for about, a year or two to make sure that we have that stock for customers, because comics was so, the Scott Snyder era of Batman. Do you know what I mean? Or the
Your wife just flamed you, dude.
I'm glad like crazy, aren't I? What?
Kyle's wife just flamed him. She said that
Nubia wrote, it's also not nice for the wife when the husband wants all the variants.
What?
Yeah, Kyle's wife is giving him shit.
In on our chat.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a reflection on all business. I think you're going to see this is going to change the way businesses, I think, do business, and I think you're going to see a big pivot to letting people work from home and pivot to doing things online and things like that. This is going to show companies how much money they can save by not owning a giant office building and just letting people work from home. It's going to be interesting to see how things change.
Like, if you think we have it bad as comic shops, think about movie theaters nationwide.
Think about strip clubs.
You can't, it's like
those
real.
Poor single moms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just wants to go to school to be a doctor.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what they're saying. The AMC is already coming out and saying that they might be in bigger financial trouble than originally thought. So it's going to be crazy what happens.
Yeah.
But Brian, why don't you go ahead and run down what you guys had for the hot 10 for us and send us.
It was like I was saying earlier that because of everything that's going on, even the hot 10 was.
Is it the hot 4?
it was different. So let's go ahead and do this.
So did the news that the Last of Us 2 is being indefinitely pushed? Did that do anything to deflate that book? Probably.
Well, here's the craziness. Okay, so basically, what Ben did this week is because of if you go and look. When Stein does his search and collation of all his data, one of the main things he's looking at is, are books going up in price, right? And he looked at books this week and he was like, oh my God, nothing is going up in price. I mean, it maybe a couple books are going up $1 or $2, but there's nothing that's going, everything's going down in price because of the craziness. And basically what he wrote is he said, since very few books are trending upwards, he will not cheapen this list by throwing anything on here. Basically, that's just like saying, oh, this book is going for $2 more than it was going for last week. He's not going to throw that on here. So he said this week's list is all inside his mind, either in his books he wants or books that he has and won't let go. So it's kind of interesting. But the first book, he did 2 books in the Golden Age. He did World's Finest Comics, number 3, because he said this is like, one of the books that he'll never be able to attain, but it's one of his all-time favorite books. And it's just a great cover. Batman playing baseball with Superman and Robin. Just like an American Pie type cover.
I like Robin's catcher gear.
Yeah.
Ken's sitting there like, I got about 6 of those in the Drawn to Comics vault right now.
Yeah. Well, if you do this thing, a 1.8 sold this January for $2,000. This book never comes up. It's also Scarecrow's very first appearance, and Scarecrow is Ben's very favorite villain. So he put in here that this is the first appearance of Scarecrow, but Scarecrow doesn't show up again until the Silver Age. So it kind of adds to the price of this book. The next Golden Age book he put in for honorable mention is Weird Fantasy number 17. This is the first Golden Age book that he ever got into, and he asked the local CBSI Golden Age gurus John Z and Ben C what he should buy for Golden Age, and they told him very good advice, which is just buy what you like. If you like it, that means somebody else likes it, and that's the best way to get into Golden Age. And so this is the first book he bought, and it turned out to be a stunner.
So you should buy Golden Age like you buy all comics. When you get into it, just buy what you like.
Amen. And this is a famous Al Feldstein cover. I love it because of the old school, space UFO type feel to it. It's got the old school rocket ship, from like Metropolis era, 1920s type science fiction. Always love the color of Golden Age books. I mean, to me, that is like the best comic book coloring there is. And it's very simple, but it just looks so good. And they did a really good job at using contrasting colors and stuff. So very cool book. Ken
said he's got so many of those in the vault, he's getting ready to use them as toilet paper replacement.
Number 10. This is a book so Ben collects all Art Germ covers, and this is the book that made him stop collecting all Art Germ covers because it's just unattainable. This was a Kickstarter that Brian Pulido did, where you had to spend like $800-900 to get this cover, and there was only 77 copies available. And it's so hard to find. You're not going to find this book. So
the crazy part is 77 people gave Brian Pulido $900 as a Kickstarter. Nothing against Brian. I'm not saying like he comes out with some cool ass covers and some cool art and stuff, but the fact that people were like, I'm going to give you $900.
Well, here's the
77 of them. That's crazy.
Here's the crazy thing. They didn't even show the artwork. Ben thinks that he wasn't sure, but he thinks that, and Ken, I don't know if you remember this, but he said that when this Kickstarter started and you had to put in your money, you didn't even know who were doing the covers yet. There was 3 covers. They all were 77 copies each. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I hate saying I'm probably one of I don't follow too many Kickstarter projects on things because I feel like if I go down that wormhole, I'll have to support all of them as a comic shop owner. And so I try to keep hands off. I said, hey, you guys, do whatever you want to. I'll spread the word, but I can't donate because once you put that first $5 in, every creator wants $5. And it's dude, it's hard to commit to everybody. What did I do now?
Nothing. It wasn't you.
Did she do that whole thing again?
It was Kyle. No, it was just
Kyle being Kyle. I think this is a beautiful cover, man. Like that's one of the most beautiful Art Germ covers you're gonna see. And the reason I asked Ken if he remembered this is because I know Brian's he's an Arizona guy too, right, Ken? So I don't he's pretty he gets out there in the local scene, right?
At every convention.
Yeah.
Pulido's on Phoenix. I remember seeing that image before because I went with one of my buddies to what was it, the coffin, like some kind of comics con or something like that was last year in 2019, if I remember correctly. And I remember seeing that image at the show on like banners as like one of their flagship marketing pieces. It's totally eye-catching from anywhere in a room. And I'm sure I saw that Phoenix Fan Fusion too over at the Coffin Comics booth as well.
Yeah. Beautiful cover. So
but that's their image to market themselves.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Number 9 is an Animaniacs book. This is one of the books that he owns that he'll just never sell. Ben is a big Animaniacs fan, and this is one of the books that got him back into comics. Nice. So it's who doesn't love the Animaniacs? That was like such a big part of, I know, me, Kyle's age group, Ben too. Ken, you remember it too. Like this was like a cartoon that kids would watch and adults would watch.
Animaniacs kind of brought back comedy cartoon.
Yes, sir. That's for sure.
Remember G.I. Joe and Thundercats and Transformers and Voltron, and Animaniacs was that cartoon that kind of brought back a Looney Tunes comedy type of aspect to cartooning again.
Yeah. Number 8, this is just a kick-ass cover. This is House of Mystery 247.
If I ever find that cover, I'm fucking buying it.
Right? I didn't know about this cover, and he put this on there just saying this is a book that he wants that is so hard to find. He wants it in a 9.8. It's just so hard to find. But I'm so glad he put it on this list because I didn't know about this book, and I'm right there with you. Like, you got DeCarlo, like almost DeCarlo style girls in bikinis from the early 70s or so. You got a skeleton riding a surfboard. Fucking amazing cover, and it's not like a goof cover. They're trying to play it off as real, like, you know.
Death rides the waves.
Yeah, what a great line. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Here we go. This is a really cool cover. This is a Bernie Wrightson Jurassic Park cover. This cover is a Ghost. It's a variant. Wow. The Jurassic Park variants for this run all had like really good artists do black and white pencil work kind of stuff. And this is the Bernie Wrightson one, Jurassic Park number 4, the retail incentive variant. Just a super tough book to find, and he said that this is one of the books that he picks up every time he sees it, and everyone he has he won't sell. So number 6, awesome. This is a funny one. So he said he was a big San Antonio Spurs fan, and he said he doesn't care about Punisher at all. He could care less about Punisher, but he wants to get
Tim Duncan.
Book. Yep, he wants to get this book because he's a huge Tim Duncan fan, and he wants to get a signature series of Tim Duncan on this book.
Oh my God, how cool would that be?
All right. What if, like, I didn't know about this book either, but to me, the best signature series of books are books like this. Like Jimmy used to, from old school Unpressable crew, used to get like books like this signed by people and actors and stuff because he lived in Toronto. And I remember he got a couple Conan books where it's the Arnold Schwarzenegger photo cover. He got signed by Arnold, and this is one of those books that's just a really good idea to, if you ever get a chance. And it looks like it's a retail incentive variant. Ken, have you ever heard of the store Heroes and Fantasies?
Yeah, Heroes and Fantasies. It is. They used to do a lot more about 5 or 10 years ago. I want it. Oh my gosh, dude, are they based out of Florida? Heroes and Fantasies.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know.
Right.
It's
I'm trying to remember, because I remember Heroes and Fantasies from being in Florida.
No, they're
take a look and see.
They're in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's why
that makes
Tim Duncan.
Why it's
and I guess that's Tim Duncan's real car too. So
of course it is.
Did Heroes and Fantasies become Unknown Comics?
They could have. That's a good question.
Did Heroes and Fantasies start?
No, they're still around. Matt says.
Is that the same people that's Unknown Comics or no?
No, they're still just Heroes and Fantasies.
All right, on to number 5. So that's just a cool thing, to get, and that's one of the ones he wants to get. So number 5, this is one of the most beautiful covers. Another beautiful cover that I didn't really remember. I remember when this came out, but it dropped off. What a gorgeous cover! That is
a beautiful cover. Yeah.
Yeah. All the red space and the just the dead space.
10 and 40 of those.
And the way he's holding her and she's dead, and it's heart-wrenching because
they'll sell you out on eBay for a better internet connection.
Yeah. You know that, like, that's painful. So and it's kind of interesting because one of the things that they brought up while talking about it is where they put the UPC. At least they put it somewhere,
it's not fucking it up.
Yeah.
I think it does. Put it on the back of the book. Yeah. I think it fucks it up.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it doesn't fuck it up by being in the bottom left corner.
No, right. But I think it just fucks it up being where it is.
It shouldn't be there at all.
Yeah, it should just be that negative red space. And I think you should put it
should have been a Virgin cover.
I like the trade dress. I love the trade dress being up there, but it would have looked good as a Virgin too. So number 4. This is an Eerie comic, Eerie number 7. This is a Frazetta cover, and he says this is a book he wants to find in 9.8. It's just a tough. All these eerie and creepy and these old horror magazines are just impossible to find in high grade. So this is just a really cool Frazetta cover that you don't see very often. Just a cool cover.
What issue of Spider-Man was that, Brian?
That
692,
was,
right?
yeah, it was 650.
692.
It's the 70s variant, I guess they call it. And this is another, it's a ghost. As far as I know, it's a hard book to find, but
$100 on eBay right now.
there you go. Jeez. Beautiful book, though.
And there's only one on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Erie number 7. Oh, yeah, we already talked about that. That's for Zeta. This is an interesting one. So this is a book that people in the spec world have kind of known about for a while. It's a ghost of a variant. This is such a hard book to find, and it's J. Scott Campbell, and it's got some beautiful non-female J. Scott Campbell art. I love to see J. Scott Campbell art. I don't want he draws nothing but chicks, and he's a good artist. Like some of his G.I. Joe covers are amazing. His
Rob Zombie cover's awesome.
His Rob Zombie covers are awesome. This cover's great. That big ass fucking rhino in the background, the camel dude, the big black dude behind her.
That phrasing, bro.
You just didn't even come up with something. You're like just a big black dude.
There's a big black dude behind her.
I'm being honest. So it's just a great cover, dude. It's a really good cover. So that's number 3. This is like I said, tough book to find. Good luck finding it. It's issue number 31. I think it's some type of I don't know, retailer incentive variant or something. But this is number 2. Kyle knows this book. I know this book. One of my favorite all-time Neil Adams covers. It's probably most people's favorite, one of favorite all-time Neil Adams covers. It's just a tough book to find in high grade. He wants to pick up a 9.8 of this, so he's just it's about a $7,000 book in 9.8. So tough to put down that much.
How many 9.8s do you think are in like the
they come up about,
census of that?
Yeah, they come up about once a year. So
one guy needs to pay his rent or what?
Yeah.
Mama's pregnant.
$7,000, man, in your hand.
Homeboy falls behind on child support.
Yeah. Number 1 is an interesting story. When I saw this book, I was like, why is this book number 1? But it's number 1 for sentimental reasons. This was a book that when CBSI first kind of got started, I guess, or I don't know if it was during that time or not, but that's what I'm thinking. Somebody just sent him this book and said, hey, I just want to give you this book just for your friendship. You know, they were good friends, and it's kind of like the same thing that happened with Kyle and me and getting some really good books. And I'm sure everybody has got Matt, Ken. Sometimes you have good friends that are just like, hey, I know you like this book. Here you go. I want to give it to you, and for asking for nothing. And those books are like most people, books that you never sell just because they have sentimental value. We all have stories like that. We all have books like that. So I get it. So that was just a really weird hot 10 this week. So
and that's a cool book too with Teen Titans in it.
Yeah, first Silver Age Teen Titans appearance, first appearance of Cyborg and Raven, and but
Cyborg.
Yeah.
I apologize. Yes.
No, you're good, brother.
You're good, man.
So yeah, it's just he kind of did say that, over the next couple of weeks it's going to be kind of weird. So unless something changes. If somebody's got any ideas of some cool lists they might want to see, put together, go ahead and throw up suggestions. But yeah, it's just like, most of the show has been about this Corona craziness is messing up everything. So let's hope we get back to regular life.
Let me ask you that. What's the normal going market value on a Spider-Man 601 J. Scott Campbell cover? Well, that's the one where Mary Jane's sitting on the couch with Spider-Man swinging away
from her.
I
would say $60.
Yeah, that's one of the lower end J. Scott Campbell Spidey covers.
It's going for $100 on eBay right now.
Not bad. Not bad. If you got that book and it's raw, sell that shit. Is that sold values or?
Yeah, that's what it's been selling for.
Not bad.
I got a few of those.
Yeah. But
Ken,
yeah,
are you frozen or you just hanging out?
I think he's frozen.
I think he
Oh,
froze.
bummer.
No, he's still
Okay.
there.
I wanted to plug his eBay store for everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So that people can find him and maybe get some books off of him and help him keep his comic book store alive in these tough times. Damn. We'll have to post a link for it. Well, I think I follow. Hold on. Let me. I think I actually.
Post it, plug it for him, Kyle.
Let me look it up real quick. If he could say it before I get to it, that'll be cool too.
I think his internet's donezo.
Yeah.
Let me see. Here we go.
I'm not getting much with you guys.
Okay, everybody. It's I guess I could have just rattled this off, but it's Drawn to Comics, one word. And it looks like it's got his store logo. I can't, it's the superhero with the long cape, and it says Drawn to Comics. But he's a top-rated seller. So he's got 100% feedback. So if you guys are looking for good books, I mean, he's got them up right now. He's got some pretty cool books. He's got a lot of books, and he's got that J. Scott Campbell.
You can share my screen, man.
There we go.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
No problem, brother. So make sure you guys go check it
That's
out.
awesome.
As you can see up here, it's
Dude, it's like that. We
ebay.com/drawn to comics.
Go in there and buy. Ooh, that's a cool Nightmare on Elm Street book.
Yeah, even if you're in the not in the Phoenix area and some other part of the country, you can still support Drawn to Comics. You can if you want, or your other local shops too. You just want to help these local store owners that are independently owned while we're going through these hard times, and because they've got to pay their bills too. So,
amen.
Definitely help them out.
And stay the fuck inside.
Yeah.
Do you have any special going on, Ken, on your eBay?
A bunch. Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Kind of.
Okay. What I've been doing recently is I've been doing +5 bonus boxes, more or less. When you purchase the listings on there that say the +5 bonus books, I pick out 5 good comics that I throw in with your purchase. So all you're doing is paying for the 5 other comics, and they're all coming to you with free shipping too. I'm not making any much for profit on it. I'm just trying to get people comics, and
it's a good deal. Solid.
Yeah, that's cool. So if you buy one,
helps us with a little bit of revenue too. That is just incredible deals for people this week.
So on your eBay listings, it says +5 next to it.
Yeah, dude. I think we lost him.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm losing you guys, dude.
Just go check it out. Everybody go look, and Ken's a good dude, and
I'm sorry, family.
Check it out.
Yeah, family owned, guys. That's the key. Is these stores are family owned. So if you can and you're looking for comics, make sure to support your local comic shop or stores like Ken on eBay. That's a great way to kind of keep the community alive and stores going and making it through this. And we talked a lot at length tonight about the outcome after all this, and fans are going to play a big part in shops returning by how much we can help them out in their time of need right now. So just keep that in mind moving forward. Also, I want to thank Ken for joining us tonight and giving us with his insight on things going on in the state of the comic industry right now. I definitely appreciate you joining us tonight, Ken. Guys, if you want to support us and support the show, head on over to our Etsy store. Etsy.com/Absolute Geek Podcast and pick up a Kyle Signature Series shirt.
Nice.
Proceeds go to support the show. And get your no sir, that is an incorrect statement shirts. We greatly appreciate that. All proceeds go back into the show. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can do so. I know Patreon is actually hurting for people right now, and they're asking creators to push heavily on Patreon to help them out too. So if you want to support the show that way, you can do so on Patreon.
There you go, Matt.
What?
Do you want to share the
what? Oh, the Etsy store. Pull up the shirt. Yeah,
That's what I'm doing.
Oh. Go to the Etsy store, pick up a no sir. There it is. The new sleeve on it too, with the Kyle signature.
Oh shit!
With the Kyle signature.
Buy them, motherfuckers! Buy them.
Yes.
$25, and then that goes back into the show and make more
Computer.
shirts and stuff. So, but yeah, awesome. Thanks for pulling that up, Brian.
Yep.
Guys, make sure to check out Brian on the podcast as well as Tales from the Flip Side. If you're, there's all that entertainment there. There's so many podcasts out there right now to get you that entertainment that you're lacking in other places. And if you want to check out some cool interviews, go listen to the podcast. You can do Flip Side if you want more comic book knowledge. Check out, all the local podcast scene, Grizzle Geek, to read, Comic Book Exposure, Couch Crunchers. There's so much good content that you can consume out there, video and podcast wise, to get you through. But I guess that'll do it for this week's episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast. Do you guys have anything else you want to touch on? We'll let Ken get out of here since his internet is
Garbage.
dying. Yeah.
I want to say my plug. You what?
Go ahead. What?
Can you guys hear me?
Well, yeah. You need to put your internet out of its misery.
No. Very cool.
My internet's like,
Yeah.
Your internet says, "Not today, Ked."
thank you guys for having me on.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on. We heard that. We appreciate you coming on finally. It's been a while. We have to get you back again soon, but
Yeah, definitely got to come back, brother.
for sure. Guys, thank you for tuning into tonight's episode on YouTube. If this is your
Yeah, I
first
think I
time,
need to increase my internet watch.
Yeah, that too.
yeah, exactly. Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. Shakespeare couldn't have said it better. But guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We'll be here back each and every Friday night. If this is your first time watching us and you had a good time and were informed, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. If you're listening to the playback on Monday and you want to watch us live, you can do so every Friday night on YouTube, youtube.com/Absolute Geek Podcast. Please make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. And for this week's episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast, I'm Matt.
I am the GuineaPig Prince, Kyle.
And I am not racist.
And that was Ken from Drawn to Comics,
I'm
reminding you to wash your damn hands, stay safe, social distancing, and for the love of God, watch Tiger King, because it's not like you got anything else to do, really. You're stuck inside. Watch Tiger King. You'll have a good time. And we'll see you guys right back here next Friday, 7:30 p.m. Arizona time. Have a great week, everyone.
Now Ken's internet's gonna start working great.
Everybody, I can talk now.